Hello. Estelle Cinema Jig. Estelle and Cinema all the four viewers that are watching me right now. All the four viewers, hopefully, that are watching. How are you? All the four viewers. Make your voice known. How are you? Me. Make your voice known. How are you? Me. Four viewers. Oh wait, it dropped to one. Four viewers. Oh wait, it dropped to one. Four viewers. Oh wait, it dropped to one. Four viewers. Echo. Oh wait, it dropped to one. Four viewers. Echo. Oh wait, it dropped to one. Four viewers. Echo. Oh wait. Oh wait. It dropped to one. Four viewers. Echo. Oh wait. Oh wait. It dropped to one. There we go. No echo anymore. Echo destroyed. How are you? Top chat, live chat. Only one like. No. No more echo, no more problem. How is my lovely audience tonight? I have had a pretty nice day. I've met with my best friend, who I believe I've not met a lot this year. I've actually not met with her. Oh, I am? Hold on. That's weird. Am I pretty quiet? Let me do the quiet. Am I still pretty quiet? Or not anymore? Should be fine now. I believe I've not met with my best friend just to meet. Okay, I've... oh gosh. That was Christmas. That was last year. Hold on. Oh no, we might have actually not met this year at all. Till now. Till today. That might have just been our first meeting this year. Huh. Interesting. Very weird. Very weird to think about. Yes, my Vietnamese friend. We've talked a bit. We did a small picnic thing. Very strange to think about. We've not met at all this year. We've talked about my stuff. We've talked about her stuff. We've talked about all the stuff all around. It was nice. It was a nice time. Beer thing. It has a beer brand name on it, Tiskia. I'm drinking Pepsi from a beer glass. Pretty interesting, huh? Beer glass. Lucy has that. Hello, Greater Rain. How are you? How are you tonight? Seems like I'm a little bit low energy, but you know, I'm not your average streamer that will fake high energy just for the sake of faking high energy, for the sake of engagement. This is why you like Lucy has it so much, for not faking high energy. You know? Hello, the Dark Canuck. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I actually have to make the phone quiet. We have a few topics to talk about as well. We have Netanyahu, who made a whole speech. Maybe we'll watch it, who knows? We have Elon Musk, the new founder, the new Trump donor, sponsor. And then we have, we have Elon Musk complaining about his trans daughter again. We have Hungary that's very angry and shocked by the fact that Ukraine has decided to shut off oil, you know, to block oil from Russia from reaching Hungary. And a lot of stuff. How am I today? Today I am so-so. Because it's been rough. It's been a rough couple of days, you know? Things can be rough. You know how it is. I've had therapy on Monday. Oh yes. Did I stream since Monday? Have I streamed since Monday? Have I streamed on Monday? Have I mentioned therapy during Monday's stream? Yes, I had therapy on Monday, I believe. Yes, I definitely had therapy on Monday. That's right. I had a therapy on Monday. A big therapy session. I might have not streamed on Monday because I returned from, I got a laptop for streaming in Ukraine. I got it for $600 something. The therapy went well, although it was a rough session. It was a difficult session. So yes, we now have a laptop to stream on from Ukraine. It's a pretty good laptop. It has a few marks on the screen, but on the other hand, it's pretty strong and it was quite cheap. If I'm smart, I might end up spending a lot less for the equipment than the $3,000, and then I will have to explain to all of you what I will do with the rest of the money, which will probably be paying off my debt, maybe. But I got the laptop fairly cheap. Cheap laptop time. Travel to Ireland. I don't think I'll have enough to travel to Ireland. Hello, Tai. Hello. $3,000 is a lot of money, but it's not enough to travel to Ireland and join Keffels. Keffels is streaming now, I believe. Although with lesser of an audience than before, like 48, 50 people. Therapy can be hard indeed. Many things can be difficult. I don't know. Things can be tough. But, you know. Look, this blue, orange-ish lighting. Isn't it nice? Isn't this nice lighting? Oh yeah. Also, since with public waiting time for therapy is at least half a year, I go private. And I've just learned that the price of the therapy has gone up. So basically a single therapy session costs me now $100. So yes, I'd have to wait 6 months for public. There are often no free spots for the therapist that I go to. So I often have to wait a long time for this therapist as well, even though I go private. Plus pay $100 for a single visit. Imagine if I actually were able to go as I should once per week. 4 weeks, that's $400 per month for therapy. It's a bit much, especially for the Polish thing, for Poland. Like, because you sort of, in Poland, you sort of just calculate it times 4, and then you get the amount. 400 zlotys for a single visit, which is a lot. So I do receive a bill, which I have to pay right away. Also, I won't be able to even... Whatever. It's the thing. My next session will be on the 12th. On the 12th. But apart from that, how is everybody doing? I'm thinking if we should do a little bit more chatting, or if we just should start. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get much more people than 5 in YouTube, and I don't know how many on the page. I always enjoy chatting with you. Thank 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 you. I stan Lucy Hazet. Thank you for standing Lucy Hazet. Which many people think it's Hayes. My best friend, when I said Lucy Hazet, she was like, oh, I thought it was Hayes. Hello, Neil Shadaka. What's the news? I've got news as well. It's Netanyahu. But yes, we're gonna watch his speech. Probably wanna watch his speech to the Congress. Once you said it, I always think it in your voice now. Wait, what do you think in my voice? Oh, Lucy. I've not checked anyone else's. Lucy's the first. Excellent. We will have to get a link though. You'll have to provide me with a link on the site page. We're gonna do coverage. We're gonna do excellent that you go to the Jewish person for the Jewish coverage. Okay, that was horrible. It was a horrible, horrible joke. We'll also be going to be doing a Elon Musk, but first we're gonna start with a React. We're gonna be reacting to President Sunday because I don't know for the algorithm. Although I don't know how much of an algorithm booster reacting to President Sunday is necessarily, but you know, it's a thing. Unless you've got a more, I don't know, algorithm boosting content for me to react to. Are we ready? Write in the chat if you're ready to start the real deal or if we should chat some more. Write in the chat. Be active participants of this stream. I have a question about, I guess, transitioning or hormone changes. Fire away and I will answer all of your questions. Actually, my best friend looked at me today and said, your skin is so nice. It is so smooth. It shines. Is it because of the estrogen? BB is good for algorithm. Oh, okay. Aye, Captain. All right. We're not gonna start with Netanyahu. We're gonna be starting with something else. We are going to be starting with, you know, I have a lot of worries in life. Bye, y'all. I'm gonna. Hey. For FTM people, do a lot of them wax do better pass, or does it naturally change that their hormones kick in? Wax what? Wax your chest? I don't understand. Wax? I don't. Wax to get rid of hair? Oh. Also, F to M is trans men, no? I guess it does become less thick. Yeah, my hair you can go back to my older streams when I first did my face reveal and you'll see that my hair was quite a lot thinner actually, not just a bit. My hair was quite a lot thinner and now it became a lot thicker at the front, which is why I can do, I don't know, I can do stuff like this or whatever, and I don't know, and there will be hair here for me to do this. So I can do this now. I can play with my hair now. Thank you. So, yes, I can do this now. I can do the classic streamer playing with hair thing. Although I'm not sure how many streamers actually do that, but all right, let's watch President Sunday, because this is what you all came for. To watch President Sunday with me. President Sunday. Oh my gosh. It's a serious video about a serious topic of Destiny and Piers Morgan. I don't think I've talked about Destiny on Piers Morgan, so this is perfect. This is a nice short video, short and sweet video about President Sunday watching Destiny on Piers Morgan, so we might as well. Right? True, he still has content. Wait. I actually saw that Piers Morgan performance, and my opinion was that whatever point Destiny was trying to make, he was just making it horribly. There was this other person that made the same or a similar point far better on Piers Morgan as well. Yeah, Mehdi Hassan, yeah. A lot more coherently and cogently. I've seen that as well. Oh, what's happening?
Okay, here we go.
Where are we going? This is my cringe humor. This is my cringe level of humor. Whenever someone says, "Here we go," my instinct is to ask, "Where are we going?"
What's happened here? No one can yet give a legitimate explanation.
We don't know what's happened here.
True, we don't know. Okay, I'm finished. I'm finished with producing the fake British accent. If I continue, Chat Logic will be on my case yet again.
That it is odd. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your lunatic conspiracy theory about how odd.
I don't have any.
If you say to me,
I've been told by I listen.
Piers Morgan. This is a horrible show. Horrible show full of horrible people, but you know, brings me back to mocking Chat Logic. Yeah, and then we had a talk, and then he said that I'm much more coherent than he thought, and asked me if I was if it was a choice. Out of all the streamer discussions that I've had through the years of being a successful streamer, which talk do you think was the best? I had quite a few streamer discussions. Which talk I've had with a different streamer do you think was the best one? Then you didn't do a character. You start to think of each of your discussions. Just think of the ones with streamers. I like how you handled yourself with Lonerbox. We've had 2 conversations with Lonerbox. And ever since, Lonerbox has been raiding me from time to time. Although not many people, as you can see, stick around from those raids. So maybe I'm just not that popular. Maybe I'm just not made for greatness. So Loner Box was your favorite discussion with a different streamer, yes? The most recent one, I felt it was a good convo. Nel Shadaka, what do you think was my best conversation with a streamer? And then I'll unpause President Sunday. Was it the Chad Logic conversation? Was that the best one? Oh, I had you on top chat. Dylan? My conversation with Dylan Burns was the best one in your opinion? Not many people have watched that one. Not many people know it even exists. So, there you go. I remember it went well. Well, there was no repeat. It was a one-off. It was a one-off thing. And then we went our separate ways. As one does. It's okay, I've had many different Finally I catch a Lucy stream. Hello all. Hello, sweet blasphemy. Oh my gosh. Wait, so you're new to the stream. So sweet blasphemy. Wait, but you have a sub. But I still have to ask you. You've been here before, right? What other streamers do you watch? And how did you find this stream? Sweet blasphemy. Hello. But yes. My best conversation, Nel Shadaka, was a one-off. I'm not sure. But maybe that conversation from 1 year ago that you think was the best one gave me the guts to go to Ukraine. Maybe I'm not quite going to the front line, but you know, I don't know. I went to the safe place, Kyiv. Which I thought was safe until the children's hospital was bombed. I was here before. I wasn't getting notification for some reason, even though I had them set for it all. Oh my gosh. And how did you find this stream in the first place? It was safe in Kyiv for the first and second time. It was not as safe for the third. No. Was it during my third visit or second? Gosh. Now I think it was during my third visit. I don't think I want you to go to the front lines. I want you to be safe. I'm not sure if I'd be good. I'm not sure if I'm fit to go to the front lines. Not everybody is. Not everybody is. Which is why you should support those who do and their work. Which is all that I have to say on that topic for now. Oh, Demon Mama. Nice. I did some reconstruction and deconstruction though in Irpin. I took a pickaxe and I smashed at that wall. Oh, my skin is coming off. Like, I even burned my hand. My hand is much more lighter here, and from here it's a much darker because I burned my hand by working in the sun. You know? And I've interviewed a few people. I've interviewed one of the owners of the bombed houses. And he shared with me a video on which he holds a burned spine of a Russian soldier, which is pretty wacky if you think about it. It actually wasn't that emotional, interestingly enough. He said that the only emotional thing from that interview was that he said that his daughter was born on the very first day of the full-scale invasion. That was like the only emotional bit from the very short interview with the owner. Yeah, he basically was like, check out this human spine. Yeah, which is okay. I see. Yeah, basically, yeah. But, you know, I've been told during a long interview with the work coordinator a nice sounding story about how the Russian positions were bombed because one of the owners made a phone call, a sacrificial phone call, and told the Ukrainian forces about the coordinates where the artillery should hit, and he sacrificed his own home in order to defeat the Russian forces. It sounded very nice until the actual owners came over, and I said, hey, can you ask the owners about the story that you told me earlier? And he asked, and they were like, oh, no, nothing of the sort. It was just the local defense force that had a drone, and the drone localized the Russian forces, and that is how the artillery got the coordinates. And I was like, oh, that's totally different. That's actually completely different. You know? It's nothing like the story. There's nothing like in that story. Hey, you know. I remember the coordinator later was saying, damn it, I'm so disappointed. I thought this story was real, the one that I told you. I'm so disappointed. So when I release that interview on the channel, I will have to add subtitles that will actually say how the story actually went. I will have to add subtitles that will be a correction to the story. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I actually will have to add a disclaimer when the guy was saying his story. Actually. But other than that, it was a fun interview. It was a very interesting interview apart from that one bit. Not true to life events. That is true. It was not true. We were told to stay clear of one car because that car was supposedly still mine, but I actually have to start working on some of that footage that I've got to release some of it on the channel. Maybe after stream. I'll do everything after stream. Hard work. 6 viewers. Listen, if we have 10 viewers or 20, if we have 20 viewers, we will have half almost of the viewership of Kevels, which will make me a big streamer, won't it? Because Kevels is a big streamer, much bigger than I am, at least. Huh? I'm being a bit sarcastic and mean. Okay, let's watch President Sunday. Because technically speaking, we started watching President Sunday, and then I went on a tangent. Oh, and then that tangent went into another tangent, and here we are. Because that is the streamer experience of Lucy. At least you don't scam your audience. I'm starting to think that I am, actually. Oh my god. Thank you for the $15, fake Alekal Parker. I've not been ignoring you. Maybe I'll start drawing on stream. I'm starting to think that I am scamming my audience because I did a $3,000 goal and was planning to get a laptop for about $1,000 or $1,500. Oh, Barry! Thank you, Tyree, for the $20 mandatory Lucy tax. Thank you, thank you. But instead, I got the laptop for $630 something. So I either have to explain, either I will have to get better other stuff like camera and the mini PC or something, or I will just have to, I don't know, explain what I will spend the leftover for. But that laptop deal was pretty good. It was a used laptop from a person from a small place in the middle of Poland that I traveled by train to obtain. And their lovely little dog jumped on me and started licking my face. You know? They're a lovely little dog. We even talked about Ukraine, and I got frustrated when they wrote me back. Oh my gosh, how do you say Yamnik in English? I have to... Dachshund? What the hell? Okay, I'm just whatever. Dachshund. The hell is that Dachshund? I'm just gonna show you. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Dachshund. The hell is a Dachshund? It's so strange to say. This one. You. Jumped on me, little cute pupper, and started licking my face. Very, very cute doggy. Very friendly. The computer owner's wife was like, take the doggy away. Not everybody likes dogs. And I was like, I like the doggy. What is this? Might as well watch it on stream since it's on topic.
Hababa. Hapapatakata, hapapatatapa, hatapatakataka, hatada, hapapa,
Okay,
hapapatakat.
enough. I think we've had enough. What's wrong with it? But yes, I do try to not scam my audience. I do my best in that department. I don't know. I saw that Aristocracy is sort of back to streaming, and I saw the title, the newest title of her stream, and I got, I don't know, discouraged, because technically speaking, Aristocracy is a history streamer, plus she used to do interviews with other streamers, but she never did an interview with me. But she's technically speaking a history streamer, and her stream title is Huge Breakup Update, First Experience with Dating Apps. By the way, very interesting fact. Very interesting fact that I've heard that Aristocracy actually denied the whole genocide in Canada, the boarding school thing with indigenous students and the mass graves. I don't really care who Aristocracy dates either, or who she broke up with, but you know, it's a stream topic apparently. Yes, interesting fact, because my best friend, who's not super tuned into politics, today when we were talking, was like, oh yeah, because I think we were talking about Ukraine, and she drew a comparison and said, oh yeah, because I talked about kidnapped children. And she said, yeah, it reminds me of what happened in Canada with those boarding schools where children were tortured and a lot of them died, you know? So it seems like, at least in Poland, it's pretty common knowledge that it was a thing, and that it, you know, that it definitely happened. You know? Yeah. But she didn't say Zionist, she said Jewish people, no? And that's not the same. What's the point in denying it? To whitewash Canadian history, I guess. That's the only reason I can think of. Yeah, all across the Americas, I feel like that happened. The natives were treated so bad. Do they prefer First Nation, or does it depend on the specific? All right, let's watch President Sunday, because we are 25 seconds in out of a 22-minute video, and we're not making any progress when it comes to... I'm watching a great series on Ukraine, by the way, Timothy Snyder, The Making of Modern Ukraine. I'm on class 18. Each class has like 1 hour, and it has like 20 or more lectures on the history of Ukraine. You should all watch it. Timothy Snyder, The Making of Modern Ukraine. You should all watch it. You'll have a very solid understanding of the history of Ukraine, and you'll have actually at least a bit of understanding of history of Poland, because those are pretty intertwined. Lonerbox is streaming with 341 viewers, which feels like a pretty low number for Lonerbox. I'm not sure what's happening there. Destiny is streaming 9.3 thousand live viewers, which sounds about right. Pretty sure website Tyler 200 viewers. Pretty sure Vosh was streaming as well. No, wasn't Vosh streamer as well? Guess nobody likes him anymore. I don't know. Is that really the case? Is that really what's happening? What have you saved to your watch later? Tyler's stream should be almost over. Oh, you should tell him to raid me. You tell him to raid me. Hold on. I have to add, just in case, I'm gonna add website Tyler to how do I even do this? Oh, there you go. I'm adding website Tyler to let him be allowed to wait, hold on. There we go. What else? What else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Oh, Vaush. Of course. Have to allow Vaush to be able to raid me. Who else? Who else? Who else should be able to raid me? Give me ideas. Destiny. Think Destiny should raid me? Should I add the Destiny to the list of the channels that can raid me? Okay, I can. He's my husband after all. There we go, I'm adding. You know what's the most impressive thing about my marriage, quote unquote, with Destiny? You know what my, I don't know, the most impressive thing is? Wait, why didn't it work? What happened? What? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna tell you in a moment when I fixed my mistakes. Okay, have I... Did it work this time? Yes, it worked. There you go. So I'm gonna tell you. I guess I can tell you now. The thing. No, that we've never exchanged words. The most interesting thing about it is that we've never even exchanged words. We've never exchanged a single word. XQC.
I've been told by many experts in the last 36
Yes, now we can go back to actually watching the thing that I was supposed to be watching. Very, very nice.
hours.
There's an entire cultural machine that has lied.
God, his beard.
The laugh is haunting.
Beard is grisly. Just shave.
I think I'm starting to think that President Sunday is obsessed with Destiny's beard. Very obsessed with Destiny's beard.
Your face isn't that bad. It's gone. It's gone.
Jesus, your face is that. People don't just grow beards because their faces are bad. That's a very sad thing to say. It's a very sad assumption to make that just because a person has a beard, it must mean that their face is bad. Okay? No. Some people have very lovely faces and still have beards, okay? Very lovely, kissable faces.
Gone, Stephen. Accept it.
On Saturday evening, hours after the shooting, you said, let me...
He was so reckless and edgy in that Piers Morgan thing. I don't know if he thought he was owning them or something, but it looked so... It did look pretty bad. Damn. But you know, we can't all look good all of the time. It's impossible.
Let me clarify. When I say conflicted, what I mean is I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't think I have
kids.
much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it. You couldn't find it in your heart to chastise people for celebrating the near.
What heart? Pierce, Jesus.
What does he do? Is President Sunday okay? Is President Sunday having a moment?
Want to sleep with my wife?
What?
Assassination
Ex-wife?
Oh my god, oh no. Listen, I'm gonna say it right now, okay? I'm gonna come out and say one thing, okay? I hate the wife thing. I hate the wife jokes, okay? I don't like people joking about other people's relationships. I am principled that way, okay? I'm a principled person that way. I don't think the Destiny wife or ex-wife or whatever jokes are funny. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too serious, but I just don't find them funny. Okay, let's continue. Relationship, friendship. Interesting. I mean, I believe you should stop saying that I hate you, because I don't hate you, but
a man who was president of the United States and maybe again.
Unlike Tom. Wait. What happened to Tom? Are we talking about tomfoolery? What's with Tom? The International Alliance of Catholic Knights. Hello, Stella Maris. Wait, are you new to the stream, Stella Maris? Or am I having such a huge audience that I'm starting to lose track? I'm starting to not remember every single viewer by heart. Ico reference. He just said there in a letter called Beckett Soy. Oh. That will happen one day, Lucy. Lucy. Wait, what Ico reference? Tomfoolery called Beckett Soy? Fine, I'll stop saying that you hate me. You'll forget all our names when you get big. I don't think so. I've been told that I've got a good memory for such details. Wait, so what's with tomfoolery? I heard there was something going on with tomfoolery. And I have no clue what, because I've watched a little bit of President Sunday's stream about it. And I came out of it knowing not much more than I started with. The only thing I know about the tomfoolery thing is that he had a thing that was a secret. And then it wasn't a secret. And somehow it's bad. And then the person that was in a secret thing with him came to the stream and defended him. I don't get it. Maybe I should just get President Sunday on to explain it to me. What's wrong with being with someone and having it not be open to, I don't know. But is it bad now if streamers have, I don't know, lives outside of the stream that they don't talk about on stream? Is that now considered a faux pas for streamers to actually have private lives outside of the streams? Is that a memo that I didn't get? Is it wrong to have some sort of a thing with another person and not make it public? Is that considered a grievous lie? Explain to me. Please explain. I guess nobody knows. I guess nobody can explain the thing to me. Is Ico streaming now? To be honest, I don't know anything about that stuff. I just saw it on PS stream last night and I thought it sounded funny. Well, what makes him a liar? Being with a person and not making it public on stream, does that make him a liar? What makes him the liar? Whose name? Oh, I didn't bring her up. Someone in the chat did, actually. I only brought up tomfoolery. His credentials. Oh. More credential drama, I guess. Okay. Jesus. Maybe I should call in to President Sunday. Is President Sunday doing call-ins today again? Should I call in and ask what's up with the tomfoolery thing? Maybe that's my ticket to growth. Tomfoolery. Wait, President Sunday is doing call-ins today? Was that a yes to my question if President Sunday is doing call-ins today? Is he actually doing call-ins today? Yeah, I think so. I think it's reasonable to keep some matters totally private as well, but I guess I'm wrong. I guess I have some confessing to do, don't I? Oh, should try. Okay. Guess I have some fessing up to do. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue watching the President Sunday video. I would think so, but I guess I'm wrong. I would think that it's to each person's discretion, but I guess maybe not. I guess once you're a streamer, you should disclose everything, every detail. You should be like Destiny. I don't... Weird.
Absolutely not. Conservatives have completely bled that well dry. And
I wonder what he got cut out. Like, I don't know. I would think that Destiny's setup is spotless, but he got cut out weirdly there, you know? It's like, absolutely not.
And the idea that they... Absolutely not. Conservatives have
just got cut out. Absolutely not. What's wrong with his audio? It's so scuffed. You're a rich streamer. Your setup should not be scuffed. Lucy, the law says you must inform strangers about your sex life and all your sins and secrets. True. True. That is true. How cute. How cute of you to assume that I have a sex life. But, you know, you're being positive. You're being positive about me. That's good.
have completely bled that well dry. And the idea that they, after engaging in the most divisive and most extreme rhetoric that this country has seen in recent history, that they would come on and beg for sympathy, that it's escalated into some kind of violent confrontation is absolutely insane. Even the idea right now of saying, well, if you call somebody a Nazi for so long, it's, you know, what do you expect people to do? I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh call...
This is some random guy, by the way. This isn't like an official. This isn't like a politician. This is just some guy.
It's not just
so
some
this
guy.
Fuckwit.
It's destiny. Destiny. He is your destiny. It's not just some guy. How dare you, President Sunday? How dare you? Interesting.
Who advocated in advance of knowing where Palestine was.
It's okay. I have no doubt you will find what you're looking for to be happy. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe I'll be happy. Maybe I'll be miserable.
Was for the genocide of its entire population. Okay? Who was like, yeah, they burned down a garbage can in a police station. Mow the... There you have my blessing, redneck.
Rednecks. Was he worthy of love?
Mow BLM protesters down in the streets with your machine guns. Okay, this is like, oh yeah, they've been with their violent rhetoric.
President Sunday's impressions are funny. I will cheer you on even if you want. Thank you.
Yeah. Like just
the stream's off to a good start, I guess. Ask Destiny to raid my channel. You should go to Destiny's chat and ask him to raid me. And call into my stream. Go, do it. Give me 9,000 viewers for once. For once, I want to have 9,000 viewers. I deserve my streamer happy ending. Okay, let's hear it again.
just their violent rhetoric. Yeah. Like just. Just walk into The sea.
Obama, a
I
cop.
like walking into the sea. What's wrong with walking to the sea? I like swimming in the sea, especially in the warm Vietnamese sea. That was a nice time. I still remember. I remember as if it happened yesterday. I literally actually remember it as if it was. There are some memories that I remember so vividly that I actually think of them as if they happened just a moment ago, even though it was many years ago.
Communist. Every single day he was on the radio. You've got conservatives that talk about how the mRNA vaccines were ways to sneak microchips into us. You've got
once again.
COVID.
Here's the thing. Yeah, it's hypocritical that you have these dipshit losers who are coming on and going, "What? This shooting happened because of this violent rhetoric," and they've been doing violent rhetoric the entire time. But the victim here wasn't one of the people who was affecting that. It's just some guy.
Just some father and volunteer fire person, fire rescuer, fire truck driver. Apparently their politics were pretty horrid, but I tend to stay on the side of saying that horrid politics does not mean that it's carte blanche to shoot you on the street. Maybe I'm radical like this, you know? Just because you have horrible politics, it does not mean that it's carte blanche, that it's hunting season, you know? I used to play a lot of Doom on stream. Bad Empanada was very angry at me for reacting to his video while playing Doom. Keep note of that.
Just some guys, some other people's kids, some woman's husband, some children's parent. That's who was killed here. This fuckwit who brings Nick Fuentes after the insurrection attempt, who's there
waffles
into his bedroom, goes, "No, guys. No, I respect him more than Hassan Biker because he actually believes what he believes in."
Oh, wow, that was a thing. Yeah, my house.
And you argue with people. No, he's not a Nazi. Like, fuck you.
That was a thing.
It's transparent what he's doing here. Okay? Election season's coming up. There's been a major event that allows him to switch gears from Palestine bullshit. Now he gets to be the hard ass progressive who just doesn't have any.
I'm a hard ass progressive. Am I allowed to be the hard ass progressive? Am I a hard ass? Am I hard enough of an ass for you?
Any more sympathy for these radical Republicans who he's been in bed with for the last 2 years? Yeah, you actually.
So you think behaving like the people you think are despicable is the correct course of action?
Not about behaving like the people who are despicable would be leading that type of rhetoric. It would be denying every single bad thing. How many times as a liberal? How many times as a liberal have you been on a show? Not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots, disavow all of the violence, and blah blah blah. And then you talk.
Oh, we certainly did not. Damn. What is a metaphorical hard ass? I think so. Or someone that just has a hard ass.
Yeah, conservatives about it. January 6th,
But you, Stephen, look, this is you.
The rioting needs to fucking stop. And if that means like white redneck militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my fucking blessing, because holy shit.
I hear President Sunday might be faking their president credentials. Hello, Philippe Auguste. Do you watch President Sunday?
This shit needs to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago.
Also, I'm temporarily back in Poland, but I got the laptop, so I'll be able to stream from Ukraine now. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that I'll be able to stream from Ukraine?
Like, fuck you. I have no appreciation for Steven here, because literally all he's doing is he's pretending to be you, progressive audience. He's pretending to be you, because for the time being it's advantageous to him. But when push comes to shove, he's not the one who's going to be onboarding the baggage of all of his indiscretions.
It's you.
Over the years. It's going to be you.
Hey.
It's going to be, oh, look.
Got him. It's going to be you, specifically. Or maybe me. Is it going to be me? I'm trans, so it's probably going to be me, isn't it? It's going to be me. Ah.
Degenerate and callous and cruel. These leftists are. But that will not...
That is me. Callous and cruel. That describes me pretty accurately, doesn't it? Would you call me callous and cruel? Write in the chat. Write in the chat if you would consider me to be callous and cruel.
From going a year from now, oh yeah, look, I used to be one of those guys, but they were too crazy for me. Crazy.
True, they were.
Jesus. I think Vosh is a much more empathetic and warm, genuine person than Steven is by a long margin, but he's still awful. That's not the standard, okay? And I think between the two of them, like, people like Vosh are going to be the death of us because they're energy vampires.
Damn.
Right, I can see despicable behavior on all sides, and I'm happy to call it out when I see it. You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting, inhumane...
Does Destiny consider himself to be a flag bearer for decency? No, he just considers himself the flag bearer of being correct or something. Compassionate and cool? No, that's not true. That's not me. I'm neither compassionate nor cool.
Main behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, you have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Fuck him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally of a guy he wants to vote for.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States.
But you supported people who supported an insurrection against the president of the United States.
Well, now you're a compassionate, cool, and a liar. Wow, thank you. A liar.
Steven. You brought Nick Fuentes into your house. You defended him to your audience. You let him sell himself on his own charisma.
True, and ate chicken waffles with him. That was the big thing, the chicken waffles. I have never eaten chicken waffles in my life. Oh yes, I have an important question for the chat. Do you know that, what's that chicken brand that's considered better than KFC? Help me, please. What's that chicken brand? That chicken fast food that's considered better than KFC. Help me, please. I'm blanking on the name. Popeyes. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Ty. Popeyes. Thank you. Should I go to Popeyes tomorrow? Oh. That is my important question for the chat. Should I go to Popeyes tomorrow? Apparently Ukraine does not have Popeyes. So that's one advantage that Poland has over Ukraine. Popeyes. Which apparently people from abroad were, like, I don't know, brought in to the Polish branch of Popeyes to teach them how to do it correctly. The biscuits. Popeye says biscuits. Maybe I will get the biscuits. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna go to Popeyes tomorrow, possibly, to do some work in the city.
After you shifted your audience space significantly to have a wide channel of red pill followers in there. People who would be very
Rednecks.
receptive to this.
Rednecks.
I'm sorry, you don't get to say this.
I get to say this. Because I never asked anybody to be mowed down. And I never had Nick Fuentes for dinner.
Done orders of magnitude more damage than this fireman guy who may have saved lives in his tenure as a volunteer fireman.
Maybe.
You've done
or maybe he slacked
more
off.
damage by an order of magnitude than this guy could have possibly done
Damn.
in favor of Trump.
Who was engaged in more divisive rhetoric over the 8 years? If you had to guess, if you had to assign a rough percentage,
Again,
between
you're
Democrats
playing
and
whataboutery. Again, you're deflecting.
Whataboutery. I've never heard the term whataboutery. Heard whataboutism, but whataboutery sounds so British. Whataboutery. That sounds so British.
Just as President,
it's not
Whataboutery.
just as
we all
Joe
let
Biden, just
It is
Here's the sugar on the cream. He asked me to raid your stream. Wait, who? Sorry, what? No, he said whataboutery. We can... Wait, did you actually ask someone to raid my stream? No, Shadaka. Did you actually do it?
though.
For me.
It is though.
just as
over the 8 years. If you had to guess, if you had to assign a rough percentage,
again,
between
you're playing
Democrats and
whataboutery. Again, you're
He said whataboutery. I was too late. It's okay. You can still go to Destiny. You can still go to Destiny. Okay, you're right. All right. Hold on. Just let's calm down. Let's
deflecting. Just as
I'm not,
President,
it's not what
just as
we
Joe
all
Biden, just
It is though.
whataboutery.
It is though, because there isn't actually a reason to go like, well, they've been perfectly willing to not condemn this stuff like that. That's immaterial. Like, we're not talking about giving up a tactic here. We're not talking about
Yeah, I mean, it sounds weak when you say, "Oh, I may be doing horrible stuff, but what about them who are also doing horrible?" It just doesn't sound very good when you say it like that.
well, we're not gonna play civility policy.
You have lost, so you should donate. That is my prescription to you. You should donate now.
If they won't, we're talking about something very simple. Don't feed your enemies a rhetorical gold mine by acting like cackling ghouls when some random family guy gets shot at a bleacher.
True. You probably should not do that. No. My goodness.
Like, what is wrong with you? What good are you securing with this? We know what good Destiny's securing with this. He gets to look like the violent, bloodthirsty...
Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should be the cackling ghoul. Can you imagine me as the cackling ghoul? Write in the chat. Be active members of the audience.
freak. He gets to go do a media tour defending that while the
I should do a media tour, shouldn't I?
left takes the toll. And then he gets to say later on, years later, oh yeah, no, I was...
Wait, I should be a cackling ghoul a little bit.
No, I thought they were more reasonable than they were, but... Like, that's how this goes. That's how this goes. Destiny doesn't...
How does it go?
...bear the penalty for any of this. He doesn't bear the cost of any of this.
I mean, he's pretty insulated, so that is true. He's pretty... But that's been the case for years, so it's nothing new. Destiny has been pretty isolated from his rhetoric for years now.
He gets to go fuck off and do drama streams about his whoever his wife is in a year from now banging somebody else on stream.
Jesus, enough with the wife things. I thought President Sunday was above this. That disappoints me, you know? I said it once, I'll say it again. I don't think the relationship jokes are funny. You know, I don't think there's any to go after people's marriages or whatever. Yes, Destiny actually did have a divorce. He had a wife and then they divorced. And that is all that I care to know about it.
Just as Joe Biden did last night, just as Joe Biden did with Lester Holt on NBC last night, every time he was asked, have you done any soul searching about your own rhetoric, your own ill-advised use of language, he deflected it back
like
to...
Here, look, it's really easy. I condemn Hamas because they went on a violent attack on a bunch of Israeli civilians and killed a bunch of them in order to maintain power in the Gaza Strip with no conceivable benefit to the Gaza people.
Damn, President Sunday being so brave.
And triggered a response by a nationalistic government that has no heart whatsoever, using it as an excuse to uproot millions of people and kill tens of thousands of them.
Well, you know, people just sometimes drift apart. Sometimes people that are even together for a long time can drift apart. And it's nothing to comment on or to make jokes about. That is the only thing that I will say on the matter. Okay? I think, and that's a very strange thing of me to say, but I think people's relationships are their own private thing, even if they make it public, I guess.
Easy. And then I condemn Israel for doing that thing that I just described. And then I condemn the person who shot at a bunch of civilians at a Trump rally for the exact same thing, where you're engaging in an act of brutality that will have that cannot be justified with reference to saving any innocent people whatsoever. Even if Trump did die at that event, he would be replaced by somebody else, and it would still be used as a piece of political propaganda, etc., etc. It's easy. But Stephen can't do that because he's defended the murder of children for close to a year. I just kicked my mouse under my desk. God damn it. Like you want an example of how to
I would never kick my mouse under the table. Just saying. Just bragging about my skill. Or being able not to... Whatever. Let's continue.
handle something like this? Mehdi Hassan is a model. Like over the
oh
last
yeah,
couple...
he did really well. He did really well on his appearance on Piers Morgan. Far better than Destiny. In all respects.
Of years, he's actually become like a genuine inspiration of how a progressive should comport themselves in public. Stephen's a fucking nightmare. I don't want this guy representing me. I don't want this guy representing...
Do you want me representing you? Write in the chat. Because Lucy has a good progressive to represent you.
Represented the anti-Trump position. This is a...
Would you be ashamed to be represented by me?
disaster.
Saying Second Amendment people could maybe do something about Hillary Clinton. Like, no, it's absolutely deranged. The double standard that's being asked here is insane. And you heard both of them say it earlier. How much did Donald Trump...
Double standard. You've advocated for the massacre of Palestinians. You've been defending...
True.
It for a year. You've advocated for mowing down BLM protesters in the...
True.
streets.
Double standard. Rolf, not in case of Destiny. No.
Trump's rhetoric contribute to the current environment? Oh, not much at all. Like, no, yeah, I'm not going to say anything to these people. Of course not.
Well, Mehdi Hassan is actually a professional. Mehdi Hassan is not a pea zombie. I don't think Stephen has an internal experience. Like my general impression of him is like he's a computer.
You see, Jesus, calm down. I think he has an internal experience. Everybody has an internal experience. Computer. Oof.
Destiny.
I'm a cognitive diversity kind of guy. I think there are people out there who are just kind of automatons.
Wow.
Oddly unversed in any of the current...
Am I an automaton? Write in the chat. Well, you didn't even write it in the chat about the previous thing. You don't want to be active audiences. You don't want to be active in the chat. You have abandoned wanting to be active participants of this stream.
Events that have happened over the last couple of years. First off, politics is downstream from culture, right? And what has happened to our culture in the last 8 years? What has happened to our culture is that the mainstream media has...
Every single right-winger here
Dave Rubin should go away.
is currently attacking, he has defended in the last year.
True.
In the last 12 months. He's been buddy with on stream.
I ask if you'd be embarrassed to be represented by me as a leftist.
Allowed them to use his massive audience to sell themselves as nice, cool, hip people, regardless of the fact that they are politically advocating for the erasure and destruction of massive parts of the American citizenry. Like, this is all bullshit. None of this is real. If he hadn't spent the last 2 years doing what he's doing, I could kind of buy this. I could kind of buy this as him being uncouth. Okay? But none of this affects him. This is a business opportunity.
Yeah, well, first of all, Destiny represents to me a certain subsect of the left, I won't call it everybody, who likes to bully others into saying exactly what they want to hear. And if they don't say it, then you all of a sudden are the problem. And they handle it exactly like he's been handling it on the show. It's like
President Sunday, how much do you think confrontation and uncivility plays a part in the current situation? I am rather should be some to the extent Stephen is doing it, Destiny's doing it. I don't know if it helps. I don't think confrontation and uncivility is the issue. I don't think that's a factor here. I think that's a massive red herring. I think the problem is twofold.
What is the problem?
Stephen isn't just being uncivil. He's specifically playing into a specific propaganda strategy of the political right in the United States for his own benefit. That's the problem. And he's impersonating leftists generally in order to do so effectively. The problem is not that there's confrontation and vitriolic rhetoric and whatnot. The problem is that...
Lucy would be a good representative. You're knowledgeable and engaged. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Now I have to grow an audience to match these words.
That we have people who are pretending to represent different sides because there's money in it, and it's escalating violence for other people. That's the issue. Like if this was Destiny truly expressing like an ongoing, a long-term outrage at conservative hypocrisy and cruelty,
without, I don't know, because Destiny is basically being a part of the problem, hasn't he? He's being enabling the right wing, and now is complaining about the right wing. That's the problem.
I'd have a lot more sympathy for him. But the fact that he was literally going out of his way to defend them because he had personal stakes in relationships with the exact same people he's beefing with now makes me recognize that no, this isn't real. This isn't real. This is pageantry. This is all fake. All of this is fake. He doesn't care about any of this.
like a child throwing a temper tantrum. You can't get a word in edgewise. They just kick and scream.
So I know what about my PC is trash with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Oh. You should always use, when you have the chance, you should always be connected via cable. With the internet.
And yell until you ultimately say, I've had enough, just say what you want to say and back down. And that's exactly what we see a lot of times from people on the left. And it infuriates me because just like we saw on Saturday with the near assassination of Donald Trump, which that is exactly what it was. It was an assassination attempt, yet we have, Dave, like you mentioned, all of the main...
He's just trying to deflect for Dems. No, he's not. No, he's not. The Dems are condemning the assassination attempt because the Dems are actually trying to hold on to office and they're actually trying to win to the extent that they are. Destiny is not.
Oh yeah, forget about Destiny ever running for office, by the way. That is a good point. Forget it. That No shot. There's no, you won't ever be seeing Destiny running for any office, that's for sure. It's just that ship has sailed. That's over and done with. Or that sort of PR that he's building around himself. Okay. I can actually think of streamers that could have a shot at possibly running for office in the future. Destiny's not one of them. Destiny's definitely not one of those people. Oh my goodness.
What? Because Destiny doesn't care.
Listen, first of all, we are allowed
Comes to
in
mind for office. I don't know. Dylan Burns could, maybe. Building at least some sort of a reputation in real life with the reporting thing. Who else? I don't know. Could Lonerbox. I don't know if he could run for office in England or sorry, Scotland. He's been doing a little bit too much apologia. Vosh? Not so sure about Vosh. Vosh has had a few. Oh no, not after the folder thing. I'm not sure if Vosh could run for office. Actually, I'm not so confident if post tax folder Vosh could be. Yeah, folder thing. Loner box, I'm not so sure. I guess technically speaking, Loner box could as well, since the Israel thing is a pretty contested topic. So Loner box's views on Israel Palestine are not actually as universally condemned enough to bar him from office. So maybe Loner box. Who else could potentially be trying to run for office? I guess only those two come to my mind. I guess only though. President Sunday could run for office in Canada. No, I don't know. I guess only those two come to my mind for now. Damn. Maybe Riley Grace Rochon could potentially be able to run for office if she builds enough of a lawyer career. You can actually I mean, Kamala Harris basically transitioned from a law career to a political career now. So that's, I guess, maybe Riley Grace Rochon potentially. I mean, I'm speaking what's possible potentially. Definitely those doors are not closed to her, in my opinion. Unlike Destiny here. In fact, President Sunday's too cranky to be a popular candidate.
Country to ask questions. There was a lot of things that were very off on Saturday.
And other
from the
people are
way
allowed
that
to
the
call you
Secret
an idiot
Service
for it.
handled.
So, you know, I love this country. God bless, I guess. Yeah.
You can see. There you go. He immediately resorts
I know, yeah,
to
here we
we're
go.
allowed
Yes.
to call you
Yeah,
an
here we
idiot.
go.
And that is
Quoting a
exactly the
breaking news
childish
headline as
demeanor
evidence.
that I'm speaking about. On Saturday,
Don't
on
talk
Saturday
over
there
me.
were a
Don't
lot
talk.
I want a theory. Hey, look, we're only 60 away.
of things that
Too bad. You want a theory? You're getting this. seems driven and knowledgeable despite the weird hiccups that seem to follow some of her interactions. Yeah, I've heard she's done some pretty good work in real life.
Let me just ask you this, Destiny. You were asked on that clip we played earlier if you'd have the same attitude if it was your parents who'd been killed at a Trump rally. And you replied, it's less
parents.
End of life costs for me. Would I lose sleep over it? No. Do you understand how...
Oh,
what was that?
There it is.
No. And you replied earlier, if you'd have the same attitude if it was your parents who'd been killed at a Trump rally. And you replied, it's less end of life costs for me. Would I lose sleep over it? No.
Jesus. Wow.
Do you understand how...
Oh, there it is.
It is.
I brought this up earlier. There it is. Look at this. I'd rather watch my wife get railed 10,000 times other than betray family in Ukraine by throwing them under the bus to win an internet debate, you coward, spineless fuck. Hey, what would you do if it was your parents? Less end-of-life care for me. Jesus.
Well. Oh boy. Yeah. He's not getting into office. No. He's not gonna be building a real life career in politics. No. Not Steven. Yes. Yes, he did.
You'd have a different rule for your own loved ones.
Would I feel more upset if a person very close to me died rather than a person far?
Yeah, that's it, Steven. That's it, Steven. Let's have a real sincere debate now about human affect. That's it. That'll stick. Good job.
That would be nice. Yeah, I think the answer there is yes.
Yeah, but you weren't just not. You weren't just. Just to be clear, you weren't just not upset by the death of that firefighter, who'd given great service as a firefighter to his.
I mean, we all have our problems with family. Families can be rough, okay?
Country, you were gleeful and you said, "Fuck him." Fuck him.
Look. Line from there's a part from, has anyone seen the Rome series by HBO? It ends terribly, but there's a part where
I have not seen it, so I will not get any of this.
He goes to Egypt, and they show him Pompey's head in a vase or a basket or something, and they're expecting him to be excited about it, and he's angry. Why? Because that is a consul of Rome. Because this was a Roman citizen who, as a Roman citizen, should be treated in a particular way. Why? Because if he's not, then the value of a Roman citizen, the stature of a Roman citizen, drops. So when you're fine with American citizens being mowed down for lawfully attending the rally of an awful, vile human being who should not be alive on this earth, then you are saying it is open season on American citizens, regardless.
True.
Regardless.
I mean, I'm not sure if you should be advocating for people being shot on the street for attending a gathering. In my opinion.
And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't particularly care much for American citizens, to be totally real with you. But this is a...
You can actually attend, technically speaking, you can attend a Trump rally as a neutral party. What if I went to a Trump rally to interview Trumpers and then I got shot? Would Destiny be happy because I went to a rally for Trump? Would that happen?
This is a...
Like, I went to so many far-right rallies in Poland to interview people. Well, not super many, like 3 or 4. The number is growing, though. You know? I didn't have a press thing on me. So, for all intents and purposes, I was just a person going there. Asking people questions with my phone.
Decision by Steven. Okay? This is a decision.
I'm not. It's
Would
not
you
about
say
being lethal.
fuck
It's about
them
saying
if it was
it's
your
not that.
family and
It's about
friends?
saying-
It was a
it's-
Trump
I would
supporter.
I would say that if they go to a rally like this and they support an insurrectionist president and something happens to them, I would feel sad on a personal level.
Oh, how do you tell those things apart before the fact?
Because they're my parents. But again, I learned from them more than anyone else. I grew up in Nebraska. You learn that if you mess around and if you do dumb stuff, that there are going to be consequences.
And would
for
you
that.
The dumb stuff is voting for the other party in a two-party system, Stephen. Like,
I actually don't know the name of that person who was killed at the rally. Embarrassing. Unprepared streamer.
don't get me wrong. Foul thing to vote for. Truly. You'd have to be very stupid to. But the fact that it's a two-party system means there's only one of two ways you go about this. You're caught by this side's propaganda or by this side's propaganda. Which means you're going to get a lot of decent people or a lot of people who could be decent getting funneled this way because of circumstance.
True.
Where are we defending Nazis? We aren't defending Nazis.
Or are we?
Hey, guess what? I'm going to blow
Or
your
are
minds. I'm going to blow your minds here. You can oppose fascism and mass shooting civilians and undermining democracy. These are not mutually exclusive.
Or so you say.
And would you
anybody
think?
taught
All
me
right.
that, it was my
And would you?
Or
And
so
would you
you
be happy to say,
claim.
you know what, them about your own
His
parents?
rhetoric is far more dangerous than I've ever heard anything that Donald Trump said. What
And this is
Okay, that's not true in the slightest. Come on. That's not true.
This is the part you need to pay attention to, because regardless of how you feel about what Stephen's saying, and I sympathize with you, because Donald Trump has successfully actually undermined democracy already in a very serious way. The last two rulings by the Supreme Court, he stacked the conservatives. Very, very bad. But this is what Stephen has achieved here. He hasn't beaten it. He hasn't pushed back on it. He hasn't won any new territory for progressives. What he's done is he's volunteered himself as the most optically advantageous punching bag for people who want to say that what Trump is doing is necessary because progressives are violent psychos. That's the problem. He's giving them power. And the issue here is not, oh, we need to police our speech because if we're polite enough, maybe they'll let us by. No. The issue is that Stephen is then going to turn around and then still attack progressives.
True.
And still attack the left. So there is no progressive representation on this panel. You have right-wingers and you have fake progressives who are feeding us to them on a silver platter.
I think that, Destiny, you are completely fueled solely off of emotion, whereas I think that, I'll say conservatives, even though I think that it spans past conservatives, when they look at the facts of the summer of BLM, the BLM movement as a whole, January 6th, this assassination attempt, when you look at the facts, things unfold before your eyes and they reveal themselves to be actually what they are. There's a lot of evidence that has come forth since all of these events in the past have occurred. And they have shown that exactly what conservatives were saying were absolutely correct.
They didn't, by the way.
Just like the assassination.
Here's the worst part about all this. Stephen's right, but he's doing it in such a way that's going to fucking just, it's not good.
True.
On Saturday, we looked at what went wrong.
Terribly done. Thankfully, there's a person that did it much better.
We look at not only was this one
I'm getting the doc for the theory segment while this is going.
rooftop unguarded, but how did the gunman know that the rooftop was unguarded? Why was it that local law enforcement alerted the Secret Service moments before shots were fired?
Oh no, the conspiracies are piling.
It is. There is actually a very good question.
Do you think January 6th? Do you think J6 was a false flag?
I think January 6th, there's a lot of discussions to be had. I think there's a lot of facts
There
that
it
came
is. Yeah,
forward.
fuck
They're
these guys.
definitely.
I will never give sympathy to this side. These guys are destroying the country, dude. This is unhinged.
I think there's a lot of discussion to be had about January 6th.
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
Theory time.
There you go. I got no theory. I got no theory for you. I got no fancy theory for you. I got no fancy theory meters. I got no things, fancy stuff like that. And you're not paying me $100 for theory, so... Well, I've been given generously $35 today, so I guess I should be happy about that. So we have ticked this one, mandatory President Sunday segment for the algorithm, because we all know that the President Sunday segment is the algorithm winner, the breadwinner for this channel. And now I'm going to go to the toilet, and then I'm going to come back, and then we're going to do another segment. How does that sound? Why don't you invite your friends, family, and relatives other than family, chosen family, to watch this stream to bolster the numbers a bit? How do you feel about that proposition? It's okay. Maybe President Sunday will raid me later or something. Maybe I'll get that President Sunday raid for the victory, for the win. I'll be right back. Toilet time. Hello? I'm not Hassan. Hello, Jess the one. Oh my god, Jess! It's been so long. Hello? Are you still here? Oh my gosh, Jess! You're white. Why are you being white? Please stop. Did you know? I recently returned from Ukraine. And I got a laptop for streaming from Ukraine. Isn't that exciting? It's true though, isn't it? Where's the lie? You can clip it, but where's the lie? Where's that interview? There we go. We're gonna watch this pathetic little display and we're gonna comment on it. What do you say? Yeah, I got the laptop for streaming now. You don't have to remind me of my failures. Listen, that's a failure you can fix. One quick subscription can fix your failure of being white. It's true. It is true. So you probably know what I want to watch. Because I'm a trans streamer, I have to discuss trans topics, right? Do you want me to discuss trans topics? Actually, I can't be black anymore now that I can vote for Biden. True. That too. That's true. That too. Jess, my long-term viewer. I remember when you used to watch me when I played Diablo 4. And you had a duel of donations with someone, but I don't remember with whom. Okay. You don't have the time anymore? Oh. Cat. All the biggest supporters of the channel have left. Okay. We're talking Elon Musk. Elon Musk has had apparently an interview of some sort. He discussed his child on this interview. He discussed his view of trans people. And he talked about the transition of his child. And basically, this is what he has to say. Let's listen to his own words and let's comment a bit, right? Let us comment.
I mean,
well,
it's sort of like the
happened to one of
nameless issue.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys.
I was tricked into signing documents.
Xavier.
Also, dead naming your child for a huge audience is always like you know, that's always a sign that you're a very supportive and good parent. When you just dead name your child for a huge audience.
This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion.
I don't know what that means. What was the confusion? What exactly was the confusion?
And you know, I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And
what do you? There's no evidence that a child that has suicidal thoughts might commit suicide. No credible clinician has ever said that. What does that mean, Jordan Peterson? That makes no sense. If the children report that they have suicidal thoughts related to this issue, then most clinicians would probably believe that they just might commit suicide, no? It's basically like saying that if a person goes to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and says, I have depression, I'm feeling suicidal. Wrong. No, you're not. No credible clinician would ever believe you. Like, you know?
And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety and not because of the gender dysphoria.
But the gender dysphoria can be cause for the depression and anxiety. Have you not considered that, Jordan Peterson? That gender dysphoria may cause depression and anxiety? It may cause both of these things?
And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it. Right?
What causes the depression, Jordan Peterson? What causes it? Whatever.
And so that...
I already said it.
Then we end up in exactly... When I saw that lie start to propagate, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like, I see. So you're telling parents that unless they agree to this radical transformation that they're...
What do you mean radical transformation? Puberty blockers are not a radical transformation. Cis children can have puberty blockers under certain conditions.
Your children are going to die, and you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That is so pathological that it's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by idly and remaining silent while his colleagues are doing it.
Nobody remains silent. There's a whole battery of tests that is involved in these sort of things. No, I assure you, nobody is silent. Okay? People are the opposite of being silent. I know. I went through the process. It's the opposite of silent.
It's pathetic.
It's incredibly evil.
Yes, it's very evil to actually allow people to be themselves. There's nothing more evil than allow people to just live their lives as who they want to be.
I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels. So, yeah, It's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so I see. So that's
I see. So you have a personal connection to your bigotry.
Tricked into doing this, and it wasn't.
By the way, Elon Musk is supposed to be the Tony Stark-esque genius, billionaire, playboy, Iron Man guy, the new, supporter of Trump. Although he actually apparently said, oh no, I'm not actually giving Trump $45 million per month. But he did actually follow it up by saying that he does. And he is preparing a hefty super PAC.
Explain to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs.
Oh yeah, also puberty blockers are absolutely not sterilization drugs. Because puberty blockers cannot make a child sterile. No. That's not how puberty blockers work. Puberty blockers halt puberty. If you get off them, puberty just happens. When a child takes puberty blockers, the child does not become sterile. No, so they're not. No, that's not how that works at all.
So
I have no idea where this came from.
Anyway,
absolute nonsense. Absolute flies in the face of all evidence, and we have sort of clinical. We have trials of puberty blockers because they've not just been used for trans youth, they've been used for cis children that have experienced puberty too fast and it had to be sort of stopped for their own good till a later age. And they've not become sterile.
And so I lost my son, essentially. So, you know, they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
That's not how that works. No, that's not how the whole dead name works. No, that's not the reason. Killed by the woke mind virus. That's just amazing. My son's dead. Killed by the woke mind virus. This is supposed to be the Tony Stark genius Iron Man dude. So think of that what you will. What an amazing video. What an amazing video full of factual and totally not nonsensical information. We've learned so much about trans issues from this short 2-minute clip, haven't we? We've learned that puberty blockers are actually sterilization drugs, apparently. Because, you know, you can sterilize children before they even go through puberty, apparently. What does that even mean? Puberty blockers are sterilization drugs. That makes absolutely no sense. That, you know, just Elon Musk. Not the... I don't know. I don't know if I'd call him the smartest guy. Pretty ridiculous. I'm not sure if I even had much else to add to this. I think I've made a short and sweet point about why this whole thing is just nonsensical. I guess I'll repeat the thing about the doctors, the psychiatrists, and the psychologists being silent. The opposite is true. You have to go for a whole battery of tests. You have to demonstrate a lot of things before, at least as an adult, to get treatment. You know? So the whole bit about depression and anxiety, it's just dishonest. It's just dishonest. Oh wait, there's something more? Is there a reaction from Jordan Pearson?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
This just sounded so rehearsed. I'm sorry to hear that. I cannot imagine what it would be like. I am so concerned and so invested in this. I feel so sorry for you that I simply cannot contain my emotions on the matter. Incredible. It is incredible how very invested I am. Can you hear it in my voice? I don't know. Very robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They both sound so out of it. My son died to the woke mind virus. I am so sorry. I cannot imagine what it's like. Yeah. Incredible. Just incredible. Incredible stuff, isn't it? So yeah, we had our nice little Elon Musk segment. Isn't that cool? Is that not impressive? We've done it. We have defeated transphobia. Transphobia has been defeated. Do you feel it? Do you feel the transphobia being beaten? Wow. The guy that decided to openly endorse Donald Trump is a bigot? No way. I would not have seen this coming ever. No way. But again, he apparently took it back. He said, "Oh, I'm not actually gonna give Trump 40. How much was it? $45 million per month. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not for, I don't know, what's the term he used? I'm not for personality worship. Not at all." He totally does not create himself as a, I don't know, object of personality worship by depicting himself as this tech genius. That's totally not what he's doing. He's totally against hero worship. That's totally not what he's about. Worst liar in history. Well, I do believe there were some worse liars in history, but okay, let's do a thing that's actually pretty interesting. It's gonna be article related. It's gonna be a little bit of a thing. We're gonna do something Ukraine related. He's bad at convincingly lying. I mean, isn't it? So we're gonna move on to a new topic in a second. We're going to do a thing now. Okay. Phew. find it. Nope, that's hold on, I have to find it. Hungary. Copy. So let's talk about this for a moment. Hungary has been for the longest time doing all that it could to block aid for Ukraine. It has been like hard at work doing this sort of weird blocking aid for Ukraine thing. It has blocked, it has tried and then stopped blocking the 50 billion aid from the European Union. It has been opposed to Ukraine joining the European Union. It has been opposed to Ukraine joining NATO. It has been blocking certain initiatives by NATO to support Ukraine. Viktor Orban has been now on a... Ukraine has sort of, you could say, responded by not prolonging a contract that allowed Russian oil to flow through Ukraine to Hungary, and that makes Hungary extremely mad, and that makes Hungary want to block aid to Ukraine even more. That's the TLDR, and this is where we are now. Slovakia and Hungary are without oil. They have not thought of any alternatives. So Hungary is facing a huge shortage right now. Hungary is in crisis. And so Hungary is now crying to the European Union that Ukraine must be pressured to allow the oil to flow once again to Hungary. And this is where we are. Hungary to block EU funds for member states until Ukraine allows Lukoil transit. Budapest, July 23rd. Reuters, Hungary will block European Union refunds for member states that gave munitions to Ukraine until Kyiv allows the transit of oil from Russia's Lukoil through a pipeline over its territory, the Hungarian foreign minister said on Tuesday. So, block European Union refunds for member states that gave munitions to Ukraine. That includes Poland. That has been a big thing, that Hungary has been blocking Poland from receiving sort of compensation from the European Union, causes a bit of tension between Poland and Hungary. Because as you can imagine, Poland is very much open to aiding Ukraine. Slovakia and Hungary said earlier this month that they had stopped receiving oil from Lukoil through the Druzhba pipeline after Ukraine imposed a ban last month on the transit of resources from Lukoil. Also in response to the situation on Tuesday, Hungary's energy ministry convened a working group concerning the security of supply, which reviewed the steps taken so far and possible next steps. A statement by the ministry read, "As long as this issue is not resolved by Ukraine, everyone should forget about the payment of the 6.5 billion euros of the European Peace Facility compensation for arms transfers." So basically, Hungary is once again trying to blackmail the European Union by saying, if you don't do what we want, then you will not get what you need. That's basically it. A very straightforward sort of, if you don't do what we ask you to do, then we will respond by blocking you receiving any money for helping Ukraine. Ukraine's foreign ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Kyiv says it has blocked oil from Lukoil, but overall flows have not been reduced through the pipeline, which also serves other suppliers. The Druzhba or Friendship oil pipeline linking Russia to former socialist bloc states in Eastern Europe has remained functioning through more than 2 years of war. Hungary and Slovakia asked the European Commission on Monday to mediate a consultation procedure with Ukraine. The procedure would allow for the issue to go to court unless the EU executive body acts within 3 days. The EPF, created in 2021, operates as a cashback scheme that gives EU members refunds for sending munitions to other countries. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, member states that gave weapons to Ukraine can ask for compensation from this fund, which again, that includes Poland. Poland has been a pretty good, big contributor to Ukraine, as you may know. But Hungary has been blocking the disbursement of the next tranche of EPF money for more than a year, citing various issues. So that's a thing. That's a big thing that Hungary's been up to lately. It has been sabotaging aid for Ukraine for a long time, and now that it's been cut off, it's worth noting that Hungary has not really prepared any sort of alternative to Russian oil, isn't it? And that Hungary has not prepared itself for the possibility that if it keeps obstructing Ukrainian aid, that if it keeps sort of working against Ukrainian interests, that it might sort of backfire in some way at some point. And now it has backfired. Hungary's cut off from oil. And the reaction of Hungary is doing what Hungary seems to be best at: blackmailing the European Union. And I guess it is fair for me to say that through this action, Poland is being actually directly blackmailed as well. No? Considering the fact that Poland has been a great supplier of aid for Ukraine, and that Poland has sort of, it's been a big issue. It's been a big issue for some time now. So yeah. That's it. That's it when it comes to this topic. Thank you very much. So I guess now we can anyone support me with a link? Can anyone supply me with the link to the Netanyahu speech? We can take a look at that. How long is that Netanyahu speech? Does anybody know? too long? 30 minutes? Can someone link it in the chat, please? Can someone link it for me, please? Please, 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 link it, please. Link it, please. Do it for me, please. I need the link. I need the link from you. Be active members of this community. Okay, stop. Oh, now the links have started. Okay, let's watch it. Let's watch it and comment. Apparently, it's a pretty wild thing. Copy link address. Let's go. Let's watch it.
Members of Congress.
Netanyahu. Let's go.
I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting.
High privileged and distinct honor. Well, well, well.
Presenting to you His Excellency.
His Excellency.
Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel.
That almost sounded like a boo. It's a bit telling if people that are pro-Ukrainian, Jewish scholars that are pro-Israel, I should say. I said pro-Ukrainian like automatically, on impulse. Jewish scholars that are pro-Israel say that this guy and his cabinet are fascistic. That should give you an image. 54. Thank you.
Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Senator Ben Cardin,
Okay, we're turning this off. Come on. You don't need Polish subtitles.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senators, members of Congress, distinguished guests.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time.
So much fluff.
We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval.
Indeed. Just not for the reasons that you think necessarily.
In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends.
I'm sorry?
In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America.
I guess speaking about Hamas doesn't quite cut it anymore, does it? No, it has to be the Iran's axis of terror.
Israel, and our Arab friends.
Who are the Arab friends? Name them.
This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
Oh, very interesting language, very interesting use of words. That has been the language that has been used in justification of bombing Gaza. I will remind the war of barbarism against civilization. We're not fighting even against a civilization. We're fighting against a bunch of rowdy barbarians.
It's a clash between those who glorify death.
Interesting.
And those who sanctify life.
I mean, I'm not so certain if Israel is sanctifying life through its actions throughout this conflict.
For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together.
This is very, very strange language. Dare I say, very fascistic language. For the forces of civilization to prevail. Not a big fan.
Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
Okay. Not much to add here.
And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing. We will win. Ladies and gentlemen, like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky.
October 7th.
Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next to Gaza, suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately, compared to our population size, that's like 20 9/11s in one day.
Speaking of proportions, what would that make the number of Palestinians dead proportionate to the population of Gaza? It's over 30,000 now, isn't it? So how does that proportion work? If we're talking proportions, is that going to be brought up during this speech?
And these monsters, they raped women, they beheaded men, they burnt babies alive, they killed parents in front of their children, and children in front of their parents. They dragged 255 people, both living and dead, into the dark dungeons of Gaza.
Which some of the, since then, some of the hostages have been killed by Israel as well, which is also worth noting.
Israel has already brought home 135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed in daring rescue operations.
Some were killed during the operations, haven't they?
One of those freed hostages, Noor Gamani, is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife, Sarah. On the morning
Yeah, a lot of people died during the rescues. I mean, I know that a lot of Palestinians died during the rescues, but I'm speaking of the hostages themselves also dying.
On the morning of October 7th, the entire world saw Noah's look of desperation as she was violently abducted to Gaza on the back of a motorcycle.
Oh, Noah. Noah said she gave up in Gaza when Bibi said it would be a long war. Oh, interesting. Interesting timing.
I met Noah's mother, Leora, a few months ago.
Very interesting timing.
She was dying of cancer. She said to me, Prime Minister, I have one final wish. I wish to hug my daughter Noah one last time before I die. 2 months ago, I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named
How many people died during that operation? Does anybody know?
Arnon Zmora, who fell in this battle, rescued Noah and 3 other hostages.
I guess that's not going to be the subject of this speech. The number of collateral damage.
Noah, I think it's one of the most moving things. When Noah was reunited with her mother, Leora, and her mother's last wish came true. Noah, we're so thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you. Many hostage families are also here with us.
274 Palestinians dead during that rescue. That's a bit of a... That's an interesting exchange. Say rescuing 3 people for, I guess in exchange for the death of 274.
Today, including Eliyahu Bibas. Eliyahu Bibas is the grandfather of those 2 beautiful red-headed boys, the Bibas boys, toddlers. And they were taken hostage with their mother and and Eliyahu's son. The entire family was taken hostage. 2 beautiful red-haired children taken hostage. What monsters. And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son Yotam bravely escaped Hamas captivity with 2 other Israelis, and tragically they were killed making their way back to our lines. We have with us also...
How did that happen?
The families of American hostages. They're here.
Oh, nice.
The pain these families have endured is beyond words. I met with them again yesterday, and I promised them this. I will not rest until all their loved ones are home. All of them. As we speak, we're actively engaged in intensive efforts to secure their release, and I'm confident that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now. I want to thank President Biden for his tireless efforts on behalf of the hostages and for his efforts to the hostage families as well.
I don't think that supplying Israel with missiles is something that helps the hostages, but maybe I'm just naive.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas.
October 7th does not excuse, it does not justify what followed. At this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that, right? That the entirety of the Palestinian population did not deserve the collective punishment that it has been subjected to.
Sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten.
So let's remember the fact that Netanyahu, before October 7th, was himself in the middle of dismantling democracy in Israel, and that there have been massive protests against him. Let's not lose sight of that. That his reforms to the, courts were pretty dicey, to say the least, and that the population of Israel was pretty unhappy and protesting in the streets. Against this man.
President
Biden,
Biden
approval right now is not very high as well. So,
and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank him for half a century of friendship to Israel and for being, as he says, a proud Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish-American Zionist. My friends, for more than 9 months, Israel's soldiers have shown boundless courage. With us today...
Boundless courage. In doing what? Can you describe those acts of courage?
With us today is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven.
Oh, you're not gonna. Okay.
Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers. His family immigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. In the early hours of October 7th, Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put on his uniform, grabbed his rifle, but he didn't have a car. So he ran 8 miles to the front lines of Gaza to defend his people. You heard that right. He ran 8 miles, came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives.
By doing what? Who are the terrorists? That's very vague language, but
Avichai, we all honor your remarkable heroism. Another Israeli is with us here today, and he's stand up right next to Avichai. This is Master Sergeant Ashraf al-Bakhiri. Ashraf is a Bedouin soldier from the Israeli Muslim community of Raat. On October 7th, Ashraf too killed many terrorists. First, he defended his comrades in the military base, and he then rushed to defend the neighboring communities, including the devastated community of Kibbutz Be'eri. Like Ashraf, the Muslim soldiers of the IDF fought alongside their Jewish, Druze, Christian, and other comrades in arms with tremendous bravery.
All this is to build a case for supposedly the reaction to October 7 being justified.
A third hero, Lieutenant Asa Sofer, is also here with us. Asa fought as an officer in the Tank Corps, and he was wounded in battle. Is
that why the contraption?
While protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade, he lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye. He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company.
What are those mummers? What is that noise? So weird.
I just learned.
Can you hear that? Did you hear that? That
There is a fourth hero here.
I'll just rewind.
I just learned there is a fourth hero here, Lieutenant Jonathan Ben Chamo, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight.
There's nothing for me to hear. There's nothing really for me to comment on here.
My friends, these are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid.
Unafraid of what? That is my question, I guess. I'm afraid of what exactly? It's a very vague speech for such a long... Very vague.
As the Bible says, Am kelavi yakum. They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel.
Lions of Israel.
And gentlemen, the men and women of the IDF come from every corner of Israeli society, every ethnicity, every color, every creed, left and right, religious and secular. All are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a young man, Yechiel moved to Israel and raised a family of 8 children.
There was one more person that sort of lived at that time, Isaac Bashevis Singer, but he has not been very welcome to Israel because he was very adamant on creating his works in Yiddish, and Yiddish has become not a very welcomed language in the country of Israel. So the author, the Jewish author who wrote works in Yiddish also was not very welcome. So let us remember that Israel has not always been welcoming to all Jewish people.
He named his eldest son, Moshe, after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction for 2 decades while raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air with Nazi rifles pointed at him. But because of the birth of Israel," Yechiel continued, "because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies."
I don't like this comparison. I don't like this comparison because it basically speaks to the narrative of the old Jewish people that were weak, that were sheep, that just allowed themselves to be killed in the Holocaust, and the new patriotic, full of nationalism Jewish people that are ready to take on the rifle and shoot their enemies. In many cases, civilians, I guess, in Gaza. The old Jewish person, weak, meek, scheming, and cowardly, and the new Jewish person as something that predates the creation of Israel. I guess all the Polish Jewish people that died in the Holocaust were just meek sheep. A lot of them being anti-Zionist, by the way. Zionism was not a very compelling nor popular concept in Poland before World War II.
Yechiel, please rise so we can honor your son's sacrifice. And I pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not be in vain, because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It was always
already became an empty promise a long time ago. It already became a mockery. People already have created a very sarcastic version of never again. The very sarcastic version of never again goes like this. Never again will Nazis kill Jewish people in the 1940s. That's basically the very cynical and sarcastic version of never again. Because never again is basically about not allowing such a tragedy to happen again to any people. Just a reminder that never again is not something that was created as an exclusive sentence for Jewish people.
Always remain a sacred vow, and after October 7th, never again is now. My friends, defeating our brutal enemies requires both courage and clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters...
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Many choose to stand with evil. They stand with Hamas.
If you are against the killing of Palestinian civilians, you stand with evil and you are pro-Hamas. I guess that's the opinion that we're being given here.
They stand with rapists and murderers. They stand with people who came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the two babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murdered the families, the parents. They found the secret latch to the hidden attic, and then they murder the babies. These protesters stand with them. They should be ashamed of themselves. They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of who target the simple distinction between those. They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas. We recently learned from the National Security Director, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America. So these protesters burn American flags even on the 4th of July. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag against these anti-Israel protesters. For all we know, Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on right now outside this building.
So any protest, any student protest that happens in the US against killing of Palestinian civilians is funded by Iran and therefore illegitimate. Got it? That's basically the opinion that we are being given here.
Not that many, but they're there and throughout the city. Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder...
There you go. How can you be against collective punishment against Palestinian people if you don't understand that Iran is anti-LGBT?
Women for not covering their hair are praising, promoting, and funding you. You have officially become Iran's useful idiots.
There you go. Quite the deliberate language on the part of Netanyahu.
Some of these protesters, it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
I'm just noticing that there are a lot of slogans, a lot of very vague statements, but not a lot of specific data, specific information, specific who's funding which protests. Is Iran funding every single protest in the US? Every single one? Every single student protest is being directly funded by Iran? Is that what we're being led to believe? Is there any sort of evidence that is going to be presented during this speech to sort of give us more clarity on this topic? Am I going to learn how exactly this is being done?
Amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming...
I'm not even directly arguing against any of this, mind you. I'm just saying that I'm not really being given anything beyond vague and empty slogans so far in this speech, and it's been already 23 minutes 51 seconds. I've not been giving much concrete information on anything apart from the names of the soldiers who have bravely fought and lost some of their limbs and are very brave. That's not really...
Gays.
And that Iran hates the LGBT, and that all protesters are stooges of Iran, basically. Funded by Iran. Wait, hold on. If all protests are funded by Iran, then how can the protesters be useful idiots? Useful idiots by definition don't have to be. That's the whole point of being a useful idiot, is that you do the work for the group or state without knowing it. You're a useful idiot. You're an idiot. You're helping without knowing. But if you're funded by Iran, then by definition, you cannot be a useful idiot. You receive compensation directly for what you're doing. You know what you're doing at the point where you are funded by the country that wants you to protest. No? Am I mistaken? Can you actually be funded and be a useful idiot at the same time? I was not aware of that.
For Gaza, they might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC. These protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about. They not only get an F in geography, they get an F in history. They call Israel a colonialist state.
I mean, all you have to do is go back to the writings of Herzl, no?
Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled?
Oh, the completely different entity. The completely different entity that has nothing to do with the modern day state of Israel is being invoked. That's very cute. That's very... yeah. Yeah, have you considered that there used to be a country here many, many years ago, and therefore the current day nation state can have its legitimacy in that? That's a pretty ridiculous trail of reasoning.
For nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home. It will always be our home. It's not only the campus protesters who get it wrong. It's also the people who run those campuses. 80 years after...
Oh, are they also funded by Iran?
After the Holocaust. 80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews. You remember what they said? They said, it depends on the context. Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context.
I'm not sure I trust Netanyahu's context.
Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred. For centuries, the massacre of Jews was all...
Also, I do not like the conflation of anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, but I don't think that needs to be said.
Always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells, to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs.
There were many, many, many Jewish people, especially in Poland, that were anti-Zionist. Just keep this in mind as this speech goes on.
These preposterous anti-Semitic lies led to persecution, mass murder, and ultimately to history's worst genocide, the Holocaust. Now, just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. And
this is where the dishonesty comes in.
No wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. My friends, whenever and wherever we see the scourge of anti-Semitism, we must unequivocally condemn it and resolutely fight it, without exception. And don't be fooled when the blood libels against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes and speak in lofty tones about law and justice. Here's a case in point. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication. Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of 40. Israel has enabled more than. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication. Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's
over what period? And what is the needed amount of trucks, and how much food do the trucks contain? And I mean, there are many questions that come to mind automatically when I hear this.
1,000,000 tons of food, and that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza.
And what is the calorie need? What is the demand? That you cannot just throw these numbers in a vacuum. You need to tell me what are the current needs, especially since the bombardments, the deprivation of resources also sort of ups this need for calories. That is an important fact to remember. And the question is, are these elevated needs being met?
If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because
I'm not even being given full data here.
Israel is blocking it. It's because Hamas is stealing it. So much for that lie, but here's another. The ICC prosecutor accuses...
So the ICC, the International Criminal Court, are now liars, probably funded by Iran. Okay.
Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way. But at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way.
Hold on. What about those groups that were killed by Israel? What about the aid workers that were killed by Israel? What about the whole diplomatic, crisis that happened when a Polish aid worker, among other aid workers, were killed? Was that also Hamas? Were there flyers sent to those aid workers warning them 1 billion times to, get out of harm's way? What happened? What happened there? What was the Polish aid worker illiterate? Couldn't he read the flyers? Didn't he get the signs?
They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, from mosques. They even shoot their own people when they try to leave the war zone.
Didn't Israel shoot it? Whatever.
A senior Hamas official, Fatri Hamad, boasted, listen to this, he boasted that Palestinian women and children excel at being human shields. His words, excel at being human shields. What monstrous evil.
Wait, but if you know that using people as human shields have been a tactic that armies in the past have used. Nazi Germany have used Polish soldiers as human shields against other Polish soldiers. And it is interesting to note that when such a tactic was used by Nazi Germany, the Polish soldiers refused to shoot the Polish soldiers that were used as human shields. Right? What is the point of using the whole point of using human shields is a form of a deterrent. If you try to get to us, you will have to get through these people and slaughter them. But I'm not sure if it works if the other side just slaughters the quote-unquote human shields and says, well, you know, it is what it is. They were used as human shields, so I guess that makes them legitimate target for slaughter. I'm not sure if that's how that works. Maybe I should be educated on the subject.
For Israel, every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, it's a strategy. They actually...
I mean, it's not strategy, since it's not exactly like they're forcing Israel to kill them, right? Like Israel's
want Palestinian civilians to die.
So who's killing them? Is Hamas killing them?
Israel will be smeared in the international media and be pressured to end the war before it's won. This would enable Hamas to survive another day, and as they vowed to...
Well, I will say one thing. If a solution is not being made, if a permanent solution that is not just based on wanting to destroy Hamas is made, then a new Hamas will just emerge. A new organization will just emerge. So I don't think that's a very controversial or complicated statement to make, that a radicalized society of bombed people who have lost relatives to Israel bombing will just create another radicalized group, even if Hamas ends up being destroyed.
Carry out October 7th again and again and again. Well, I want to assure you, no matter what pressure is brought to bear, I will never allow that to happen.
We're just gonna sidestep the whole ICC thing then. ICC are liars bought by Iran.
The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members who continue to support us, continue to support Israel.
Bernie Sanders is a fake Jewish person. He was very opposed to what's happening in Gaza, very opposed to Israel's action. But I guess Bernie Sanders is the weak, meek Jewish person.
Support the truth and see through the lies. But as for the minority,
Barry!
that may have fallen for Hamas's con's job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point. He studied every major urban conflict, I was going to say in modern history.
In history ever, of course.
He corrected me, no, in history.
Of course.
Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history, and beyond what...
That's bullshit. I'm sorry, I just cannot listen to this. Really? Then how did we arrive at over 30,000 deaths? If Israel has... No, I'm sorry. I need a bit more than just this statement.
What international law requires.
Really? Is that so? Israel has done better than any military in urban warfare ever in the history of the world. Really? Is that so? So.
That's why, despite all the lies you've heard, the war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare.
I would like to see evidence of that.
And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? its lowest in Rafah. In Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there'll be thousands, maybe even.
So how many, what is the ratio? Why didn't he give us what the ratio actually is? Why didn't he actually quote the ratio? How many people were killed in Gaza and what is the ratio of non-combatants to combatants? Why didn't we, if the ratio is so good, why didn't we actually hear it? Why didn't we actually get any numbers quoted?
And tens of thousands of civilians killed.
It should be very easy to demonstrate, right? We already have tens of thousands of civilians killed.
Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited our troops as they finished fighting Hamas's remaining terrorist battalions.
Very interesting, avoiding numbers. It's a sign of honesty when you're talking about data but provide no numbers, isn't it? The best ratio of combatants to non-combatant casualties in the history of the world, but we're not gonna Google it. We're not gonna give you the numbers. That's very interesting.
I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none.
Practically none. Interesting. I wonder how many civilians would Netanyahu say were killed in general. Would he also say practically none? Can someone give me the exact numbers on Rafah? Actually, let's see. Is there any data available for me to just check? Number of casualties. Civilian casualties. After the initial Israeli strikes, the Kuwait hospital in Rafah reportedly received 27 dead and 150 wounded people. More than 35 civilians were killed and nearly 130 people were injured on 7th of May. 19 people, including 5 children and a woman, were killed on 8th of May. 15 civilians were killed and 5 injured on 9th of May. 5 civilians were killed on the 15th of May. 4 civilians on the 16th of May. 3 civilians on the 18th of May. 9 people were killed on the 19th of May, including 6 children and 2 women. 24 people were killed on the 20th of May, including 16 children and 6 women. 18 people were killed on the 21st of May. 13 people were killed in the 38 hours after the 24th of May. On 26th of May, Israel bombed a displacement camp in Rafah, reportedly killing 35 to 45 people and wounding 60, while targeting 2 Hamas commanders. On the 30th of May, Save the Children stated that 66 people had been killed in safe zones over a 4-day period. Medics warned that thousands of civilians could die in the offensive. So, let me hear that statement again about the number of casualties, because I believe I must have misheard. I believe I must have misheard. I believe I must have made a mistake. I must have heard Netanyahu completely wrong.
We had Prime Minister, asked him, how many civilians were killed? 3. You take out in Rafah. He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none.
Practically none. Interesting. Very interesting, because we've just read some numbers and they were not practically none. It was a very quick search as well. Very cursory search. Interesting.
With the exception of a single incident where shrapnel...
Single incident. A single incident.
...from a bomb hit a Hamas weapons depot and unintentionally killed 24 people? The answer is practically none.
Practically none. Let's look at this again, because maybe I just read it incorrectly. Hold on. Maybe I just read it incorrectly. After the initial Israeli strikes, the Kuwaiti hospital in Rafah reported 27. No, it's all here. No. It doesn't seem like I was mistaken. No. It seems like I can still read after all. Practically none, save for one incident. Interesting. I guess the Wikipedia is just paid off by Iran.
You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we...
Oh, so where did all those numbers that I just read out come from? Are these Iranian lies?
We did it.
Oh, interesting. Practically none.
These heroes here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be condemned for how they're conducting the war in Gaza. They should be commended for it.
Commended.
I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth.
False accusations of the ICC. I mean, if you have nothing to worry about, then you should just let the ICC investigation commence. And if there's nothing going on, then the ICC investigation will bear no results, right? That is how it works. If you're accused of a thing, then you should just, instead of saying that the ICC, that the body doing the investigation is bad, you should just say, we have nothing to fear of. We've done nothing. You can investigate us to your heart's content and you'll find nothing. That should probably be the call here, right? If Israel is not doing anything, then the ICC will simply then the ICC's investigation will simply show that nothing's happening. The fact that you feel the need to attack the ICC on this is telling to me in on itself, to be quite honest.
These lies are not only libelous, they're downright dangerous.
How is it dangerous? Explain it to me, please. It's very simple. The ICC does not just throw an accusation and then you're guilty without any evidence. It conducts a whole investigation in which it tries to figure out if the claim is true, if the suspicion is true, if the accusation is true.
The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves.
By conducting an investigation.
Oh, Barry!
Because all of this were killed in the October. Thank you, Greater End, for the $5 and for the comment.
And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next.
That is nonsense. That is actually, of course, also America's next is a very silly comment, considering that the U.S. is not in the within the jurisdiction of the ICC. So that is the emptiest comment that I've ever heard. The U.S. has not ratified the Rome Statute, so.
And I'll tell you what else is next. The ability of all democracies to fight terrorism will be imperiled.
Yes, if we have international investigative bodies that will look into whether or not nation states commit genocides, then nation states will not be able to fight terrorism. That is an amazing argument. That is a very strange way to make an argument for basically undermining the idea of international law, which is, I will admit, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of making a case for undermining international law and giving individual nation states carte blanche to do anything they like without any repercussion.
That's what's on the line.
It's very interesting, considering that the very idea that nation states should not be able to do that nation states should be subject to international law, was the idea that a certain Jewish Polish lawyer championed till the very end of his life.
So let me assure you.
But I guess that doesn't matter, does it? I guess Rafał Lemkin was not one of the strong, patriotic Jewish people. He was one of those meek, weak Jewish people, was he?
The hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself.
Even investigating into whether or not something wrong was done is shackling Israel. That is not very reassuring language. As a confident country would, of course, say, we welcome the investigation because it'll show nothing. Not the ICC is trying to shackle us even by just investigating at all.
My friends, in the Middle East, Iran is virtually behind all the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the killing. And that should come as no surprise. When he founded the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini pledged, "We will export our revolution to the entire world. We will export the Islamic revolution to the entire world." Now ask yourself, which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power.
Western civilization dropped.
That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month,
I thought Iran saw Israel as its greatest enemy.
we heard a revealing comment, ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America. Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power. In 1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond. In Beirut, they killed 241 US servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers. In America, they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as we recently learned, they even brazenly threatened to assassinate President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer the Middle East. And for this, it uses its many proxies, including the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel.
Nothing like a narrative. There's nothing like building a narrative, is there?
That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing. When Israel acts to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from, we're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you.
You're protecting you by slaughtering all those Palestinians. I understand. I feel protected.
My friends, if you remember one thing from the speech, remember this. Our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight. And our victory will be your victory. Ladies and gentlemen, that victory is in sight. Israel's defeat of Hamas will be a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror. Another part of that axis, Hezbollah, attacked Israel on October 8th, a day after the Hamas attack. It has launched thousands of missiles and drones against us. 80,000 of our citizens in northern Israel evacuated their homes, becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically. But let me be clear. Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes. Last Friday, a third Iranian proxy, the Houthis, attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few...
I remember.
200 feet from the American consulate, killing 1 person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this. Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves, on all fronts, I know that America has our back. And I thank you for it. All sides of the aisle. Thank you. My friends, for decades, America has provided Israel with generous military assistance, and a grateful Israel has provided America with critical intelligence that saved many lives. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth that help protect both our countries. And we also
protect by killing.
We also help keep American boots. We help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East.
Is that so?
I deeply appreciate America's support, including in this current war. But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East.
Oh, so now there's a plea for more weapons. What am I reading? What do you mean?
In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to
I was checking something on the page.
Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster. My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages.
But it won't fix the problem now, will it? Will it now?
But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. Gaza should have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask. It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive. A new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us.
And how do you propose that will be achieved? How do you propose this will be achieved? What's your proposal for that to be achieved?
Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security. Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace.
How?
That's my vision for Gaza.
You just said nothing. My vision for Gaza is for Gaza to be peaceful and great. That's okay.
Now here's my vision for the broader Middle East. It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th. Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us.
Interestingly enough, the same thing could not be done for. Well, I'm not even gonna go there.
Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together.
Certain countries deserve to have missiles shut down above their skies and certain countries don't. I'm just gonna leave it there.
The new alliance I envision would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords. Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no
attack orchestrated by Iran.
No room for political violence in democracies. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there. That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again. My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful.
Yes, we're almost at the end of this speech.
About the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide.
Not all Jewish people are Israelis.
And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776. Working together, I'm confident that our two nations will vanquish the tyrants and terrorists who threaten us both. As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this: no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent, Israel will not bend. We will defend our land, we will defend our people, we will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment. And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as in many others, Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend and your steadfast partner.
Who knows?
On behalf of the people of Israel,
Trump mainly supports himself, so if supporting Israel would lead to a gain for him, then he would.
I came here today to say thank you, America. Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure
interesting language.
A brilliant future for both our nations.
Civilization.
May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever.
I think we've had enough. We've done quite a few things tonight. I think we're done. I think I've been exposed to enough for tonight. So I guess we're gonna finish stream. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours. Let me check something. Let me check something while we're at it. We're still at it, so might as well. Still live? No. I don't really feel like waiting for a President Sunday raid. I feel like we've had enough today. I feel like we've had enough for today. Don't you? Okay. Well then, good night. It's been a stream, and I will see you next time, right? I will see you next time. Good night. Good night.